and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses. This our very first motorbike review. Today we're going to be looking at a bike that's brand new onto the market from an old forgotten manufacturer from Italy, FB Mondial. Here we have a Learner Legal 125 in the shape of the HPS 125 Hipster. Now I know the word hipster conjures up images of trendy, fashionable upstarts, and it's laced with negative connotations, but this bike is far from negative, although it is very trendy. Now they've fashioned this as a modern take on a 1950s cafe racer scrambler. With these exhausts down the side and this fashionable but old-fashioned seat and these handlebars, I think you can agree it is very trendy and pretty damn cool. This bike is mine, and I already know it's good for 75 miles an hour. And, well, let's go for a ride, shall we? So here we are on the bike. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about the background of FB Mondial. FB stands for Fratelli Buzzelli, after the company's owners from Milan in Italy, and started in 1948 developing trikes and bikes, and with a plethora of Grand Prix wins under their belt, they stopped producing bikes in 1960 with their own engines, but continued making them right up to 1979 with other engines. There were attempts to revive the company since then, but nothing really grabbed the market's interest until now with this amazing looking machine. This Italian bike is built, like many, in China, but uses a Piaggio engine, which also owns Aprilia and Derby. Therefore, they use the same single-cylinder, double overhead cam, 4-valve, 4-stroke engine, developing around 14 brake horsepower, revving it to almost 10,000 RPM. The engine is liquid cooled and fuel injection, meaning it's a Euro 4 compatible. With a 6-speed transmission, it pulls quite nicely in each gear, although it has just a 9-litre fuel tank. Now, to put that into perspective for you, I used 3/4 of a tank to do around 60 miles, but it cost me just £3.80 to fill it up again. In 125 Guys, the bike comes in 2 different colours, white with red accents or gunmetal with orangey yellow accents like this one. The all-digital gauge houses the speedo, rev counter, indicators, lights and engine management light. So it's very modern and quite impressive. However, it is missing a gear indicator. With a 100 front and a 130 rear scrambler tyre, they look chunkier than they actually are, and it's stopped by a 1-piston rear and a 4-piston front brake on a 280mm disc, upside down forks on the front and double shocks on the rear, and it weighs just 130 kilos. Obviously that's excluding me, which boosts it to nearly 230 kilos. So what about size and style? With an impressive 765mm seat height, 1.3 metre wheelbase and a 1 metre overall height, this bike is just over 2 metres long, so very much a full-size bike. Now I'm 5'11" and this is what I look like on it. With a large headlight you can't actually turn off, the rear LED lights are hidden under the seat. With very stylish designs like these wavy discs and the twin side exhausts, chromed front mudguard and the belly pan, so it really has that cafe racer scrambler look. Now, I think this bike is stunning to look at, very different, and there is nothing else really on the market that's this modern and this retro looking at the same time. So what about riding it? Well, the seat is very comfortable and the stance is racer meets scrambler. Strange that, really. The mirrors are sturdy, although the image becomes a little blurry at 70 miles an hour. It is heavier than some bikes of this 125 range, but still light enough to throw confidently into corners. It feels well planted on the road, and although the rear brake pedal means you have to turn your toes in a little bit, it's not too inconvenient. It can take 2 people, but probably not ideal with this seat design. One thing that does bug me, although it is not with the bike, is having 1 or 2 of these L-plate things means many car drivers feel the need to be in front of you, despite its ability to keep up with the traffic. Having had 10 bikes and a car license for 26 years, I just haven't got around to taking my big bike test, and with an L-plate, drivers do have a very, in general, poor level of respect for bikers, so please beware, because there are some very arrogant people, which I have found already in the past few days of riding, and I had kind of forgotten. Now, I'm quite aware, being a car driver and a biker, of bikes on the road, but unfortunately not a lot of people are. So please, like I say, just be careful out there.
So there you have it, the HPS 125, and we'll forget the Hipster bit. As far as I'm concerned, this is not only a bike that is cool to look at, but it's actually pretty nice to ride, as you've just seen. I personally, and I know I could be biased here, but I absolutely love this bike. And of all the 125s I've had, I don't think I could go for anything else. I'm pretty hooked. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Motors for the Masses. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, our first motorbike review of many. We'll be back next time with more car reviews and more bike reviews. And until then, please drive and ride safely, but have fun. Bye bye.